My name is Commander Psykit.
And I'm Commander Mal for the win from Flight Assist.
And you're listening to Loose Screws.
07, Commanders.
Hey guys, so we're starting the podcast now. This is Loose Screws. Listen, Ty is not here, and I'm going to try to cover for him because he's having some personal in real life stuff go on, and so we're going to try to soldier on here. But I did just literally almost introduce my other podcast. Which I just did like an hour and a half ago. But it's going to be okay. I promise I'm going to be here for you. We're here together. We're going to suffer through this travesty together. And together with me today, and I'm going to say the date, which is October 1st, everybody. This is October 1st. This will probably be coming out very late tonight or early tomorrow morning on October 2nd. And with me tonight, I have Squadron Commander NL Hate. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great.
Fabulous. Also here to what? Also here tonight. What?
Nothing.
What? Okay.
Carry on.
Also here tonight, of course, is Chig back from the void. How are you?
Yes, I'm back. It was a rough week. The president came to my city, and it created nothing but chaos for me. And today was the peak of that chaos, and somehow I survived and managed to get here for the show because with us potentially being shorthanded and just things, I wanted to make sure I was here. And just so people know, I'm working so many hours a week that my resume is everywhere. So if anybody's hiring, get a hold of me. I'll come do anything as long as you pay me enough money. And then my wife started remodeling our bathroom like a month ago. So I'm dealing with that.
While you were at work?
Pretty much. I said, hey, if you want to start tearing apart, go for it. And she did. So now I come home and it's like, okay, she doesn't know how to do that. So then I start helping with that. So between work, looking for a new job, remodeling my bathroom, we could get a whole Lave Radio kind of thing going with bathroom updates once in a while. And it could end up going years, literally, because Jesus Christ. So
we got to carry that torch.
Exactly. So, we're doing that. And I do apologize for not being here last week. But when all of a sudden Secret Service and Marine One and everybody starts asking for cars and they need them, 8 hours before they contact you, it becomes quite the adventure of trucking stuff in and just working out the logistics of that. And by the time I got home, I knew that I wasn't sure I would get home in time. And I knew that if I did, I would be in no mood to talk to anybody about anything. I would just drink myself stupid. So that's kind of what I did. And I didn't get home till after 11 last Thursday. Yeah. So that's when my life, nobody have sympathy because it's my own fault. All right, carry on.
Right on. Well, we're glad to have you back. And also joining us tonight to fill in the gap is Commander Dubs. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. And I feel for you on the remodeling thing there. My wife has definitely used that plot. She destroys it and says, well, now you have to do something about it. So
now it's broken. Great. Well, I don't think I'm working as much as you, but I've taken on a couple of large projects lately, and it has been a lot of go, and the deadlines are just inside of what would be realistic. So it's like it's not so crazy that you actually try to achieve it, and I think that almost makes it worse. Rather than just saying there's no way we're going to get there. So, but it also kind of reminds me about, I have the kind of, I don't have the kind of job where I'm on a certain number of hours and I'm, kind of watching a clock. I'm like completing a task, right? So, boy, I have not felt like, I feel like my work days are flying by, in that sense, but boy, am I tired afterwards. So Anyway, it's been a big week in the world of space and space games, and particularly in Elite. We've got news from the Squadron. There has been community goals and story in-game continuing to turn over. There was a new Dev Diary video and then a stream earlier today with some cool new info. Horizons is being given to everyone who didn't already have it on a certain day, and paint jobs given to anyone who did already have it. Lots of stuff is going on. Oh, yeah. Anyway, it continues, but we'll kind of chew through all this stuff one by one and try to, I think, discussion over every bit of the news. I will, I've just decided in this moment, I am going to add links to the show notes in case anyone has trouble finding a particular thing, because I think the videos are worth watching this time. And because I'm sure there will be little details and stuff that we missed out. And there's some kind of cool and exciting things to be seen if you so choose to seek out those videos. But first, I think we've hit an important milestone in the Loose Screws faction, and congratulations are due. So I think we need to start with the Squadron briefing.
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
Several weeks ago, we started making strong moves and powerful strides towards my second real objective for the Squadron. Our first being Bumper, of course, that we took immediately after the PMF was in control of Ross 310. And after Fleet Carriers came out, most of our flotilla has been sitting idly in Kama, but now our faction has finally caught up to the flotilla in Kama due to a large part in the player base that has been grinding materials and missions and influence, and each and everybody in the Squadron, and our friends who aren't in our Squadron that have been doing the BGS grind all deserve a pat on the back and a sweet
Hear,
one
hear.
of those.
On my end too, yeah. Oh man, have we wanted this and been thwarted on so many occasions.
Like I said, I've been re-listening to the pod. I started Loose Screws from the beginning to listen to all the episodes, just to re-listen to everything. And I've finally gotten to the last few months after we had the player-made Squadron and stuff. And yeah, Kama has been brought up a lot. Like 2-3 months ago, we had this targeted, and it's just been a pain. And we've hit every target we've ever gone for, but for some reason, Kama has just consistently just been a pain in the butt. That once we actually got in there, we had more people going a war in than we've had in a long time.
It's been we've been making a mess of that place the past couple of nights.
There's been so much blood and ammunition spilt.
Oh yes.
We're actually in a really wonderful position of, we have 2 active wars in the BGS right now. 3 if you count what's going on in Calarum that the COCS is taking care of. The leader of the COCS actually contacted me today about making sure that we weren't stirring the pot over there too much.
What is COCS, just to let people know?
That is the player group that is running the NPC faction Mayor Koro Future, that is actively pushing the BGS nearby our influence area.
In our little corner of the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We have arrangements with them.
Yes.
Right. It's anything else you want to fit in? I mean, all celebrations go. We're in there, man. Oh boy.
A lot of people are focusing on the war, and we do still have some very persistent pilots that are pushing secondary, tertiary, quadrilary and quintilary goals that we have set.
Quit using such big words, man. You're going to confuse me.
we have our fourth, fifth.
See,
Yeah.
hold on. I can explain this to Chig. So basically, you've got your main cheese, right? And then you've got your second cheese. And then after that, you'll have like a third cheese and a fourth cheese. And then there's like a fifth cheese. That's like
Well,
the least
all the
important
cheeses are
cheese.
equally important. I think you would go, if you want to use your analogy properly, you'd have like your three main cheeses on the platter. Then you'd have your like crackers, meat, and apple
beer.
slices, and you
And
determine, where those all fit.
Do you see what I just did there, though? Like, I convinced you to understand this so thoroughly that you could turn around and teach it to me. This is the sign of successful
Brilliant, sir.
teaching. Yes.
Brilliance. I like it. Now teach me something useful.
On top of the 5 orders, we are also casing several additional systems after those first 5, and several lesser goals that could be gained while we're
Lesser cheeses.
Yes. Music for the background.
I think we might actually be getting the lesser crackers. You got your Ritz and your Club. Now we're getting into like your Triscuits that some people don't like as much and things like that. Got it. I'm with you.
Yep.
Keep it up.
Okay, hold on. I have to write something down. Somebody vamp.
I got nothing, man.
One story from our community that happened this week is one of our fresher commanders took a wee jaunt out to the Guardian space and misunderstood some of the cues and got trapped in a Guardian orbital beacon.
Oh my
And
God.
Actually, like, there's apparently enough space inside of there for a whole asp exploder to without exploding. But he rocked back and forth until the asp did the exploding part of that.
Oh no.
Wow. Is that Mr. Kevin Flynn?
Mr. Kevin Flynn, who
Okay.
did give me explicit permission to use his name on air.
I'm just looking at, we've got show notes that are just so out of order and random. It's blowing my mind right now. Thanks, Ty.
Yeah, thanks Ty for handling this. I've often said like I usually like play the game and do mining or something simple. I can't even be bothered to like go to the Gal map and find a system to mine in right now because I'm trying to deal with the travesty of the show notes that you usually handle all on your own.
Yeah. He's definitely the gooier type cheese that holds the crackers together in this podcast because you came on talking about, before we went live and started recording, you were like, okay, we'll go this order. And then you mentioned like everything in the show notes in one fell swoop. And now Hate comes in and jumps to the very bottom of the notepad. So
I think it was an appropriate time to throw that in. This is fine.
It was.
This is
It worked good. No, I know.
Yeah. We're totally fine here. We're totally fine. Cool. Well, sorry, I was about to cut you off.
Go.
Say again. I'm sorry.
Is Ty a queso fresco?
Ooh.
Soft new cheese, white, helps crackers together.
The cheese of the week is going to fit so perfectly into this entire episode. It's so good.
All right.
Do we apologize to Dubs now or later?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. Sorry, Dubs.
He's probably the only one managing
Apology
to successfully play the game.
Yeah, I know. He's probably killed, like, honestly, we were talking about going to war, and
Yeah.
2 nights ago, I managed to get on for, I don't know, an hour or so and got a couple CZs in there. And, we had some of our newer guys in there, and they were talking about, how, it was only low intensity, but man, a lot of Corvettes and everybody was
Right.
kind of struggling. And then me and Hate, I think, got in there, and Data showed up, and me and Data both brought our Corvettes, and Trax shows up in his Mamba. So we started mopping him up, and we were killing him pretty quick. But then last night, Dubs managed to come online after doing a 24-hour shift at work, and he's half awake, and we were blowing through these CZs, and I was a little hyperbole I threw in there that we were killing him in like 20 seconds last night, but literally, we were blowing through low intensity CZs in 90 seconds to maybe 2.5 minutes. They were dying so fast.
When you have
thanks, Dubs.
Under 5 minutes for sure.
When you have 2 full wings and some extra commanders in there boarding. Yeah, that's
at one point there was a 9th commander in there with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was gone at that point. I had some family stuff come up where I bugged out after 2. So then the groups grew after that. So even when it was just a few of us, it was amazingly fast how fast we destroyed those things. I'll quit saying the word fast.
Your wing kept that spot open until there was no other options. And we filled a whole nother wing and then your spot and then had another commander.
Wow. Yeah, we've been wanting to murder Kama, take control of that forever because we're sick of singing Boy George without the payoff.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. Okay, so let's go on to some of the goings on here. I'm gonna jump a little. I'm gonna break my rules, I guess, and jump a little bit ahead because I think the next order of business is probably going to be the result of last week's CG delivering. This is the result of the CG from 2 weeks ago, isn't it? Yeah. The stations being upgraded to full-sized starports with large pads in refinery systems for the sake of making tritium easier to acquire in large loads. And that also came with some, I guess you would say these are BGS changes. There are market changes happening, and it was pointed out to me after all of my woes that Gallite is becoming a lot more valuable. This is the material that I had 12.6 thousand tons of on my carrier, and the CG ended underneath me. So I don't know what the prices are going to be, but I should actually have the text up in front of me and don't, I think. Well, anyway, I have so Galnet News. So this we'll start reading from today. So Pilots Federation alert for the attention of all commanders. The new starports constructed in 10 systems causing increased commodity demand. So I guess this is why the prices are going up. Refinery outposts have been upgraded to starports following an initiative to improve access to 2 large ships for refueling fleet carriers. That has to be like a British sentence formation, right? Wouldn't it be to improve access of large ships? Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to list out 10 system names. Go look them up. They were in the news before. Search Galnet News. I'll include the link to this page. And then materials or commodities, I should say, that have become more valuable because of these fluctuations include bauxite, building fabricators, gallite, power generators, rutil? God, that can't be a real word. And thermal cooling units. Anyway, that's a thing, right? Does this need to be discussed, or is this a stupid bit of news? Anybody out there?
I'm back.
Okay. No, not at all. Okay, that was a quick thing. But the new stuff that's been going on with community goals are the new community goals that have just launched. I think did the rare goods community goals have completed? The Harold Duvall Memorial Ceremony stuff has completed, yes?
Yes.
Okay, fabulous.
It's tier 4 and only got a 20% discount, not the full 25.
Well, that was a hard target to hit, but that does result in a 20% discount on Gudamaya ships, right? So now's the time to buy your cutter hulls.
But so many people complain that the goal the week before was too easy, so they're dialing it in.
That one twice.
And that's for sure. I think we. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I was talking over you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I am fairly certain that they did a bit of a stealth adjustment to the goals partway through that. It seemed like we were getting nowhere, and then suddenly we got a big boost, but not enough to make it to the end. Does everybody feel that way?
I saw people posting they thought they changed it, but I mentioned my week.
Mhm.
I wasn't able to pay attention to it. I have no idea. I caught bits and pieces, but it definitely seemed. I mean, this, from my understanding, once again, I may be talking out of my ass because I didn't participate. I didn't have time to participate. It seemed like this was a very, very difficult community goal when you're transporting rare goods. That's,
The being that the most of the goods you could only get in quantities of 12, the Lavian brandy you could buy 24 at a time, and that was it. I did some. It was quite fun actually, in the sense that it caused some changes. You weren't just bringing T9s all the time, and I did a little bit of both in the sense that I ran individual loads. You had to go quite a distance. It was about 200 light years for the Lavian brandy. And I ran some loads myself in like a Phantom. And then I switched and I actually loaded my carrier up with I think I only did 4 or 5 runs of 24. And then zoomed the carrier over, and I rebuilt my Mamba with 24 tons of cargo space. So I could run this stuff to the station in a nearly fully outfitted combat ship, one that looked fully outfitted anyway, and try to get some attention. And I did. I succeeded in actually scoring a little bit of PvP gameplay in that case, which was kind of fun. Mostly, you get dropped in, you start battling somebody, and then their wingmates drop in, and it's time to leave. But that's why I picked the Mamba, so I could decide when the fight was going to end, regardless of what anybody else wanted.
Gotcha.
So, but it was weird too, because I know everybody, I think, experienced this at one time or another. There was a weird concentration of NPC ships just outside the destination station, I guess for the sake of the memorial ceremony, and it caused massive lag, which I thought I had an explanation for, that it had to do with network stuff, but somebody was saying they were experiencing the same thing in solo, so I'm not sure. But even systems that it didn't seem to matter if you had an overpowered GPU or not. It was going to kind of slow you to noticeably lower frame rates, regardless of where you started from.
It seems it's almost always the network side of it rather than.
It seems that way.
Yeah, it's not graphics pushing in this game. It's network bullshit.
Yeah.
And do you want to hear unpopular opinion of the week?
It hit me.
I love the CGs are back. I just hardly care. I'm sorry. I mean, I love it, but all of a sudden it pulls people away from things that they're doing. So those that actually are involved in the sandbox, all of a sudden you feel like you should be going and doing this thing. It's yeah, but I'm really busy killing shit in our war. Or, man, I really wanted to unlock this week, or, do this. And I guess it goes back to, my normal opinion is I love anything they put in the game, because it just adds more to the galaxy. But I hate when it starts to feel like you almost feel obligated to do it. And that might be the rewards being almost too good. Like this new one that's coming right now.
It's the one we're about to get to.
Yeah, the one we're about to get to. I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, fuck, now I'm going to have to do that one.
So before we get there, though, if I'm not mistaken, is that a tie I see on the horizon?
Yeah, I hopped in. I'm only going to be here for a little bit. So.
What's up, brother? Good to see you.
What's up, man? What's up, y'all?
Welcome. We're whatever. We're doing a
happy
podcast
you didn't
episode.
hear
You
the
knew
first
that.
half of this show.
It's
Is that good, huh?
It's not the worst podcast I've ever recorded, but those happened 7 years ago when I didn't know what I was doing. So this is kind of a step back for me. I'm usually better. I don't know. Whatever.
Have you listened to episode 1 of this show?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
You did fine. I think episode 2 is the one where you were fully solo, wasn't it? It was your Ty's soliloquy.
Solo.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
one.
god, solo's hard. If you had all the experience in the world as a broadcaster, solo would be hard. I would love to know, Ty. We were just discussing the recently completed CG, and we were about to jump into the new one. Are you hanging around for some chit chat?
Yeah, I'll be here for I got about 10, 15 minutes. So,
all right. Well, let's hit this new stuff. So what's going on now is a continuation of the storyline regarding the murder of Harold Duvall. And now Denton Petraeus has, some would say, gone a little nuts. Some would say back to his old tricks, perhaps. But he's decided to do a little bit of seizing some systems. They basically have decided that Liz Ryder, the engineer, is the one responsible for supplying the explosives. And now, you should read the stories in Galnet. I'm not gonna just read all the news exactly, but it exists there, and I'll post the links. But basically, now we have a combat CG for the first time in a while. So Liz Ryder belongs to the faction, the Eurybia Blue Mafia, and basically we've got you pick a side. It's either them or this Kelteam Empire League. Am I saying that right? Anyway, an Imperial faction, and they're trying to basically go into terrorist lockdown and eliminate this Blue Mafia faction. So pick a side to fight for. Let's see, what do I want to describe? I want to describe the rewards that are being promised are going to be, if you choose to fight for the Empire, basically the Empire is going to seize control of these systems. And NL Hate, I think I saw some chatter earlier today in Discord. What are the BGS ramifications of the Empire taking over these systems?
I was having a little bit of an emergency here at the house. Can you give me some backfill?
Yeah, sorry. I honestly don't know the answer to my question, so I'm going to, unless anybody else wants to jump in, maybe I'll switch to the other thing for a second.
Oh, my phone is not muted, by the way.
Well, hey, what we're talking about is the new CG and getting into that, and what the BGS ramifications are of who you're fighting for.
We saw some of them yesterday evening. There is the wrong kind of lockdown in the 4 lockdown systems.
Okay, explain that a little bit, please.
If you filter the galaxy map by faction state for lockdown, those systems do not pop up. So,
and is that because there's an individual station that's on lockdown instead of the system itself? Is that what it is?
The faction that is in charge is in lockdown. So the whole system, if it was a regular lockdown, would come up as a lockdown.
Okay.
Power has done that. It is popping up interestingly.
So what do you basically, if the Empire side of this combat CG is victorious, those systems will become Imperial systems. Do we know what that will mean for the game going forward?
Those 4 systems are already Imperial systems, the ones that are in lockdown.
Now I'm terribly confused.
Eurybia is not an Imperial system, though.
Okay.
Okay, it will become Imperial.
And then Liz Ryder will be replaced with a citizen of the Empire, yes.
Oh, okay.
And then
I'm really confused though, because never mind. I carry forward because I'm like the rewards for fighting for Liz Ryder seem like amazing.
And I'll get to that, I guess. So I'm going to read the text here. If victorious, Demolition Unlimited Workshop will continue providing services to commanders with existing access, but future access will be handled by the Empire. So this is why I asked, because to me, this doesn't mean anything. It doesn't seem like anything's going to change for the players.
It's a power play, not a BGS.
Okay. All right.
So why would we fight for this side rather than the reward for the other
Yeah. So
side?
for context, then,
In the 4 systems that Denton Petraeus has forced into lockdown, if you go there, they have the little Galnet articles at those stations. Those articles give you the political reason for the motivations for the Neo-Marlinists. The CG that we're doing is for the Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army, which is 2 different things.
it's like a terrorist wing of kind of originating from those people, but doesn't represent all of them.
Exactly. And there may be more of those little articles hidden through the outsides of Imperial space that may give more or conflicting insight.
Right. And I see some stuff like that is starting to be tracked in the lore discussion channel on the Discord. So come and join in if you aren't already.
Big old shout out to that fellow at Canon who originally said that, and then sent our friend Professor A1, Crim Shadow from Canon, sent Professor A1 out there to look for those. And then I linked our good friend from Lave Radio, Watherspoon, that information, and he has gone out and verified those as well.
Right on. So the other side of the combat CG, the side that I think I'm going to end up playing for, this is basically the Eurybia Blue Mafia faction, where Liz Ryder's engineer base is. If victorious, supporters ending in the top 75% of contributors will have a fully engineered, lightweight, and high-capacity Class 2 Seeker missile rack with thermal cascade put into storage for them at the port there in whatever that system is on the 10th of October when this comes to a close. So this is, and I think I'm reading right, it is a fully engineered with 2 mods at the same time, lightweight and high capacity. So I suppose it would end up having a reduced integrity, but you'd get the benefits of high capacity without the additional weight, and in fact, probably with less weight than a regular Seeker missile rack.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
A, first to Dubs, what's the benefit of that particular mod? And it looks like we get, one of these just randomly thrown into our...
Sounds like one module, put into storage.
Yeah, just one module. I mean, the high cap is pretty obvious what its benefit is. Just a shit ton more ammunition, double ammunition. But the fact that it's also G5ing out the lightweight, I would assume that it's not going to be as lightweight as a normal G5 lightweight, but it's still going to wind up being lighter than a non-engineered module.
High capacity usually adds 100% of mass. So lightweight on top of that, which reduces it to like minus 80% or something. So you should be under the weight of an unengineered Class 2 Seeker missile rack.
You would think. I mean, I guess it depends on what order the engineering happens.
Is this the first module we've seen where they're doing 2 engineering things on it?
Never heard of it before.
That I've never seen either. That's why I'm like, this is like, why is anybody fighting for any side other than this to get this random?
Unless you consider lightweighting an advanced missile rack, then you have double the ammunition with the lighter weight.
But that's dumbfire.
Dumbfire only,
right.
yeah.
Well, and it's not double. It's more, but it's not double.
Well, the follow-up question is, do we think that this is going to be something they're going to do in Odyssey? Like, are they going to let us do some sort of double stacking engineering?
Double engineering.
I mean,
they have been.
Which would be kind of
like
the complete opposite of the direction I figured they would go with it. So,
yeah, I feel like that would further the gap between the newer players and the people ganking them. I mean, that would just make it that much worse.
Well, that was like when I started this. I said I have 2 questions, and the first was what this weapon is, and second is why. I don't. Is there going to be some purpose for this? Is it because as Ty jumped in with one speculation there, with is this going to be the new way engineering will be, where we can get stacked effects on stuff, or is this something to do with where the storyline is going, where people who are really into this? Because I mean, top 75% of contributors, that's 3/4 of people who help are going to get this benefit. So it's a lot of people are going to get this, which then will encourage you just to even just help a little bit. You can help on the next step of it. Is this a stepping stone, or is this jumping forward to Odyssey stuff? Has anybody seen any speculation? That's where, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, what module does the other side get? And the other side just went, well, it's going to be an Empire system instead of a Federation system after this. Like, well, wait, these aren't just, A or B options. It's well, what does this mean and what does that mean? So I'm actually far more intrigued than I would be otherwise, but I'm hoping somebody has a theory.
I have not seen speculation to that effect. Honestly, it seems to me like a one-off, like it'll be a unique item that anyone who joins the game later or didn't participate isn't going to have. It's not,
and we've always seen how that comes off with the player base.
Well, here's the other thing. Like, it's not like this particular mod would make it super overpowered or something. The high capacity is a typical, that's a popular mod for a missile rack. It's what you want is more ammo. This negates one of the problems with it by lightweight engineering it. It kind of fixes that it adds a bunch of weight to it, but the weight is not that big a deal for most ships that you would be using missiles on. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because it's never happened before, and it's like something you wouldn't be able to do on your own. But it's not like you put these on a ship and suddenly you're overpowered.
Especially, it's a single hard point. That's the thing. Right. I mean, this is almost, or what you're saying is you see it more as just like it's a decal. You own this seeker rack that you wouldn't have.
People
otherwise.
have, like you say, like how well the unique items and stuff. Like thinking about the Cobra Mark IV that most people don't have access to, and everybody wonders.
It's not complete. Like, I know.
Right. It has uses, and some people like it for certain things, but for the most part, it's not like it's this extremely desirable ship. It's not the FDL. It's not something that is going to be like part of the meta, and if you don't have it, you're at a massive disadvantage. And likewise with this module.
Especially considering it's not like a module you can purchase later on, where if all of a sudden the combat things change, where all of a sudden this would become overpowered. You can only have one. You're gonna have one, so it's never gonna destroy the game for sure.
My curiosity is because I would rather like a lighter, high capacity Class 2 rack. I don't know how much I would use it, but I could put it on on something that I wanted to be a lightweight ship and might not otherwise put a high capacity missile rack on because of the weight. Can I change the experimental effect? Because on normal engineering, you can change the experimental without altering the modification. Can I throw overload on there instead or something? I'm
wondering if we need this to go down a trench on like Death
Star?
Deaded. No, I was going to go with like a deaded brown dwarf thing, something other than Death Star. I was trying to not be
like that
copywriting, but we do have a game coming out tomorrow, and now
tomorrow. What do you mean tomorrow? It's coming out in like an hour and a half. I don't know if y'all realize that.
Depends on what time zone you're in, I guess.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be. I think from what I was reading, it's supposed to be available like around 11 Central.
No, now you guys got your preload.
It's finished.
Done, all that. All right, yeah, I assumed. Anybody listening to this, it won't matter because it's going to be tomorrow when you hear this, which means this is from the past. But we'll go from there. Whoa. But need to get your pre-download done, and I'm pumped.
Star Wars Squadrons is what we're talking about. Nobody's said that yet.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to cease and desist.
Well. Did we get a
Okay.
cease and desist and I missed it?
Well, Trex
You should have
said
heard the
Death
crap that
Star.
went down in the first part of the show.
Yeah, we've been a mess.
Expecting nothing less. I'm about to just step away though, gentlemen. I will say
Final
this.
words on the CGs.
I will say this about the CG. I am happy that they're back. However, I'm kind of like Chick. I just don't know if I care right now. I know that sounds horrible.
My unpopular opinion is shared by you. Yay.
Can I offer you guys this one thing before Ty steps away? Perhaps that's not such a bad thing. CGs make you feel like you have to participate because they were so uncommon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if they're always going on, like it has been back to back to back, they're always going on. So just grab the next one. No big deal.
Yeah. That's actually kind of where I'm at with it. I think they're great that they're back. I like the fact they're back, but like I went out and did a little Raxla hunting in my freaking fleet carrier
Corvette.
last week. Yeah, my
Oh.
Corvette too. And I was wrong, of course. And then I come back. Actually, I'm planning to do some mining this weekend. And actually, I asked Sam to do some mining this weekend. And then I realized that Squadron starts this weekend. So it's just a good chance. That's all I'm going to be doing this weekend. So
I
might
hope we
be
can
there
get
with
you
you.
in Discord tomorrow night, Ty, because I think our Discord is going to be pretty jammed tomorrow night with people playing some Squadrons.
I am planning to be here tomorrow night, but we'll see how it goes. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and I'll tell you guys
All right.
everything that's going on whenever I get back. So,
Yeah. Don't be a stranger.
Fair enough. Yep. Thanks for checking in.
Yep. And thanks for holding down the fort, guys. I'll see you guys later.
Cheers,
Take
mate.
care, brother.
All right. So
All right.
have we hit the CG stuff hard enough yet? Yes.
Anybody have any other opinions on it?
I mean, I guess the missile racks are cool, but that's not the main victory of this CG for Liz. It's sticking it to the dirty, nasty Empire. That's the real victory.
Like
That's
blowing
the real,
up their Death
yeah.
Star?
Everybody blew up their stations. It was an inside job just so they could take over more systems.
Oh, wait, no.
There has-
Star Killer Base. Meh.
There has been a lively discussion that I was happy to participate in somewhat today in Discord about all the theories of how this could end up being a frame job by Denton Petraeus or some kind of a false flag thing. And why would the Arabia Blue Mafia have anything to do with this? The Galnet News article insinuates that they started monitoring shipments or whatever and tried to figure that when the explosives were smuggled into the station, it was on shipments from this faction. And then they turn around and say, well, Liz Ryder has the technical know-how to put she's the demolition expert. But the whole point was that it had Thargoid enzyme in it. And I say Thargoid enzyme has nothing to do with Liz Ryder. You can buy that from any human tech broker. In the Galnet article, in fact, I've got it here on this other tab. It literally says, I'm trying to find the spot where they talk about the explosive, that it matches exactly the profile of the ordnance on enzyme missiles. Right? Oh gosh. Should have read this before. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. Does anybody remember? Anyway, that has nothing to do with Liz Ryder. Enzyme missiles are bought from human tech brokers. So why isn't Denton Petraeus invading every human tech broker system?
That's a lot of systems.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, but then he comes back and says like, well, they tracked it to the shipments, the cargo transports linked to the Arabia Blue Mafia. So, I don't know. There's a lot of theories being thrown around. Probably we're digging way too deep, and it's a complicated story that probably involves some betrayal, but maybe we're going a little too far.
Perhaps. I don't know if we don't go, if we're going too far or not far enough. It's this game. You start, especially ever since the professor joined our Discord. I realized there are so many layers to frickin' everything that
yeah,
I don't. I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes, and if I should be taking the red pill or the blue pill, because there's so many things in this that honestly I think the developers have. I think you're the one that said it one time. Is like, are the developers just so patient because they know how big this universe is that they're not worried about us finding everything? We'll find it when we find it, and they'll just keep adding little things because it just keeps getting deeper and there's more stuff. Just saying that. Sure. Because I did see you guys in Discord discussing that, and I saw you defending the one side of it. Well, what about blah blah? Was it APOC? Who was it you were debating with?
There were several because there's some. I also think this is interesting from the perspective of Loose Screws and our Discord and the whole community in general, because not everybody in Discord is part of our faction. Our faction is independent, and commanders are coming from wherever their role-playing wants to support, right? There's plenty of people in here who were like, for the Empire, as soon as this went down, they're like, we're going to take this Liz Ryder person to task. And, so like you said, I was sort of defending one side. Ultimately, I think it's all sort of funny. Like, I was engaging in the discussion for the sake of, I was kind of being the naysayer to whatever somebody was saying.
Oh, you never do that.
I don't know.
You're never contrarian. You are never contrarian, ever.
So, but I do think it's sort of funny, all the theories everybody was coming up with, and some of them might have some legitimacy to them, because there is all this complicated stuff. And I am going to be watching that lore channel carefully, and I hope everyone listening at home does too. Okay. What else? Anything else on this? You guys ready to move on?
I quit carrying yesterday, so move forward.
Yeah, sounds rad. Okay, one more. I'm jumping around again. One more quick thing. Operation Ida repaired 4 stations all the way in a single week.
Yep,
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, this is
those guys. That's why
me dusting off my hands.
Honestly, that's why this last CG was rare goods, so they couldn't just overwhelm it in a few days. Right. So it made sense.
And they took that CG time off to just stock their carriers with stuff they would need for the repairs, and then they just dropped them.
Yep. They don't fuck around. they know how to move cargo.
What were you saying, Hey?
Operation Ida's bot that actually does Ida's work tracked 3,500 tons that Ida didn't do, and the rest of the more than 1 million bits were all done and recorded on the Ida Discord.
Wow, sounds about right.
There you go. Some other people, Ida and some other people repaired 4 stations.
One dude in a T9 for like
an hour. Yeah. Well, no,
probably Pepper Grinder. Where's he been? Guessing it was probably him.
Building up his new account.
All right.
New accounts.
Sexy.
Yeah, it's on a PC now.
Right on. So let's see. Do you let's take a vote. Let's take a vote right now. Do you guys want to do a Chig chat now, or do you guys want to talk about the game development news that happened? It's one and then the other. Which do you want to do first?
I want to hear some music.
Well, if game development news, let's make that our main topic. So let's do Chig chat now.
Okay, and second question, follow-up question: which Chig chat music do you want?
That's on you. We've been over this.
Oh, random number generator. Wait, what did Dubs say?
Dubs wants to hear Ty singing it.
Yeah,
Ty singing it.
Which version?
Ty twice.
The most recent one you've shared.
We're gonna redo the good. Okay, here we go.
It's gibberish.
Hey y'all, it's Chig Chat. Oh, we're gonna get our chat up off in here. I tell you what, boy, it's gonna be time. I tell you what, this Chig Chat. Where the cheese at?
It's pretty outstanding.
Beautiful.
It's impressive. He says he planned that. I'm going to call bullshit. He did that right on the cuff. I think he just freaking shot that out. All right.
I bet he planned it so far as he knew he was going to use that accent. And that's it.
He has another accent? just curious.
Boy, guy
right.
leaves the room for a second.
You're going to leave the room for a second? What?
No, I'm saying he leaves the
no.
room for a second. You just suddenly,
Yeah.
you think he talks like the banjo. Okay,
Well,
I'm
if
sorry.
you're not adjusting his octave, we lose track of what he sounds like. All right, this week's Chick Chat is going to be
I still
real
have
brief
that too.
because we need to get into the Dev Diary stuff this week. So all that I want to do this week is just do a couple quick shout outs. I had a whole other thing I wanted to get into in case we wanted to try to get some more length on this show, but we're 50 minutes in. So I think once we get into the dev stuff, we'll have a full length show. So I'm just going to this week, I just want to give a couple shout outs, Discord shout outs. First, Crash. I didn't hear you guys shout out last week how he boosted our Discord server all the way up to like level 2. Thank you, dude. That was crazy. All of a sudden, one guy sending that many boosts. It helps with sound quality, helps with banners. There's all kinds of stuff we can do on the server. So we do appreciate that. You're a valued member of the community, and thank you so much. And then I got 2 more just quick shout outs just because we always have people join and they'll join in chat and a voice chat and in text chat, and stuff. But we've had a couple new members here join in the last month who've just become like mainstays in voice chat. Passive
Instantly.
and Manitouk. You guys, I'm just giving you guys a shout out because honestly, it's cool to have people just become a part of the community so quickly. You're just like, I look and it's like, oh, voice chat. Hey, look who's here. It's those guys, you guys are good stuff. And I appreciate you guys so much. Passive, laid back guy, Manitouk, laid back guy, except he loves to argue with me. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't take any offense. It's all good stuff. And
who would argue with you?
Shut up. Wait, what? All right. That's all I have. Like I said, I had another topic, but I think we want to get into some of the awesomeness this week because people usually accuse us of being overly salty at times, though we try not to. I mean, I feel we try to just be laid back. I'm going to say Trax gets us in trouble way more than anybody else, throwing him under the bus.
Really?
But
no, I do not.
But
it was just that.
How dare you, sir? But yeah, no. Let's move on to the awesome stuff.
That's great. Okay. Well, I don't. Do I really? Okay, that's fine. let's let that ride. I was gonna say I thought I was pretty positive lately, but anyways, so the stuff that happened this week, the Dev Diary. This was launch week for Dev Diary, and that meant we got another one of these short, like under 10-minute produced video segments that involve some interviews and a bunch of new images and discussing a couple of new features. And then following that, today there was a live stream. So it actually, part of the news was that the video leaked early. The community managers, Stephen and Art, said that one of their friends or media partners or something pushed a button to launch it a day early by accident. And then it immediately got pulled down. But then, and I think to their credit, they just said, well, whatever, and moved ahead. They marched forward and said, let's just release it. Now, that meant that they basically just suddenly went live on Twitch kind of unprepared. And I watched part of it, and it was, they both popped up. They're both in their homes, unprepared to do a stream, and they were adjusting their graphics live as it streamed out and pulling things into shape and stuff. It was clearly true that they were unprepared. I liked it because it seemed different from even just a couple of short months ago, where we would see, I don't know if you would say like denials that the wrong thing had happened, but they didn't address it in the way that I thought maybe they wanted to, and the way that they are now. I see it now as like they said, hey, somebody push that button, whatever, we're just going with it. You know,
while
it's
you
a
were
day
saying that
early.
whole spiel, I was just nodding my head. People can't see that, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and guess what? This is kind of like what I thought before. Like, why not just talk openly about the way this stuff goes down? Like, oh, that was early, we didn't mean to. I'm thinking about like the Odyssey, the very first trailer that we got. That everybody still argues, was it early and by how much? Because I kind of think only by a matter of hours, because the Steam like wish list thing was ready to go.
I still think, the more I think about it, it was a week early. Because why would you put that out just days before the fleet carrier launch? Why not launch fleet carriers, all that excitement, then put it out the week after? That's why I still think it was a week early.
Yeah, that makes sense. But we didn't get any like kind of acknowledgement of that. It's not like we're being lied to, but it was just sort of like they just didn't talk about it. And they sort of said, yeah, like it came out when it came out kind of thing. And now they were just like, whoa, something happened, haha, and they laughed. And, you know, it makes them seem like people. And I mean, I know they're people. You know they're people, but does everyone out there realize they're people all the time? Because the way they, you know, it makes me think about the way they often get treated.
But you have, you know, a public image and something you want to portray that you have a plan and that it's good. And if something comes off before it's supposed to, you know, you want to throw that PR side. And that's what I think they did the first time. Now, this time, I think somebody fucked up again. So now it just seems like they might be a touch incompetent. I don't know. They're saying it was one of their media partners. Yes, I know. And that's where I'm gonna, that came off very snarky. I didn't mean to say that they're incompetent, but you know, honestly, this is the second like big release that came out early, and they handled it completely differently both times, as you were just saying. So I was just joking, but it's how you handle these things.
Yeah, I think that the point that I'm trying to kind of circle around here is when we've done interviews with the community managers, with Stephen Benedetti, Bruce Garrido, a little later on, they specifically said that kind of when they came on to a culture that wasn't as communicative as they thought it should be, and they were making strides to try to change that. And we've had confirmations from Arthur as well to the same regard. Basically, it seems like starting with Stephen, perhaps there has been sort of a deliberate move to open that all back up again. And I think this could be like a large cruise ship taking a long time to turn, but we're finally at the point where we can be real about it. That's kind of how I felt, and I'm making a lot of assumptions, I know, but that's how I felt when they reacted that way.
And I'm with you. The way that they've handled things in the past and the way that they're handling things now, it's we've talked to Bruce, we've talked to Stephen. I've never talked to Arthur directly, either through text or through voice chat. But even today, with the discussion they were having, Arthur is like my favorite guy at FDev. There's no bullshit with him. I've got a great bullshit meter, and I can tell when somebody's dancing around something. He doesn't. He tells things like, as we get farther into this discussion, some of the things today, I was driving around washing cars and doing all kinds of shit, and I'm listening to their live stream, on YouTube, wearing headphones and listening to it. It's cutting in and out as, my signal is good and bad by cell phone stuff. But I every time I've heard him talk, I really want to get him in for an interview, because it's, good old Arf. Arf. when you listen to him talk, there's times that I almost feel, I can almost hear Stephen just kind of cringing at how straightforward Arthur is. You know, Arthur just like we'll talk about. Actually, I'll just go right into it now. Like during that thing today, the CQC thing, is there going to be CQC on foot? And I'm like, oh God, please say that's not a thing for actually going to have Fortnite, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and Arthur goes, we're not going to talk about that. You know, I don't think that's something that is, but yes. And he just said yes, you know, and it's like, okay, is that good or bad? I don't know. But at least now it's like, okay, so that is kind of in their thought process that they want to have something like that mixed in. And I love that he said that.
He directly said, like, I'm not talking about that yet because it's a feature that I want to save for later because we've got until early next year before this comes out and we want to keep being able to feed you stuff. Like, he just said, I'm dodging this question. You know what I mean?
But he said, I'm going to completely dodge this question, but yes. You know, he said yes in there. You know, I mean, it was good. I love that he's that candid with it. He doesn't. He's not afraid to drop some crumbs like that. And it seems like almost, you know, being that he's the newest community.
Well, he's in charge.
Yeah, he was put in charge, so he's allowed to say whatever he wants. But it seems like he's like, I'll say what I feel like I can because I'm the new boss, and I love it. It's great.
Okay, so let's tackle it like this. We have a video, and then we have a live stream where they explain some more. The live stream where they were admitting that it launched early had basically nothing in it because they weren't really prepared, but they just wanted to like be real and talk about that. Mm-hmm. Then the live stream today contained a couple more live interviews with a lot more questions about the features. They occasionally solicited questions, and I was there in the chat.
It took them a long time to get to them.
It did. They sort of set aside a couple of little chunks of time, and I was hammering hard in the Twitch chat trying to get a couple of questions answered. And I feel like they were very, very strongly dodging my questions. I felt extremely ignored. But I think they kind of had a few things that, as with the previous one, what this was about was a specific thing. So this was about locations, and there was some information about like the suits and how we're going to interact with NPCs. So,
well, I too also keep in mind, it was also about the fact that we actually saw people moving. Like I had talked about after the last feud, it's like, well, big part of this is seeing people move. You know, a multiplayer game is, you know, are we going to move robotically? And then they got into motion capture and then modified motion capture. It was very intriguing. Yeah. I would almost want to back up a step even farther to go to the actual video, you know, like that 4-minute whatever it was video where we actually saw, you know, the inside of stations and outside Mos Eisley Spaceport. I mean, outside a dusty bowl, you know, port that they were talking about. I'd rather kind of start talking about that first and then move into what we saw today.
Okay. Well, I think it's a little bit all tied together. I mean, people should go watch the video, but what we see is the view inside a station from being on foot. And it seems, and this is sort of later confirmed, I guess, but there's a few different locations. They've said outpost, starports, and so I mean those as two separate things, right? Outposts are the small ones, starports, and planetary settlements and bases. And those are kind of different categories too. So in the sense of like where you land your ship on a landing pad, like a starport, you have these social hubs. And then in the video, we get to see a lot from the windows, and we see, and it's definitely real, that like the goings on inside of a Coriolis station is viewable from the window of the social hub. You're standing there in that building. You're watching live as players come in and out of that station. And then I'm assuming that's going to carry all over, right? We're likewise going to see, you know, why not? Well, okay. So what do you want to pick out from the initial video?
For me, in the past, I've always been, on the ground, whatever. The space legs things has never been a huge selling point for me. And honestly, right now, even this seems like it's another game attached to this game, but that's good in a lot of ways. And I think it's super cool. Like the views from like that, they were inside of Coriolis and they're sitting there looking up and you see ships flying through the mail slot and everything else. And if they actually tie all of that together, so like if I'm standing in the bar with Trax and we're just bullshitting, and then Dubs flies his
Asp Scout. Yep.
Asp Scout and just smashes into the glass to say hi. The fact that if they can get all of those systems working together, it just makes the galaxy so level from the micro to the macro. It pulls it all together, and that's where I was the most excited. Is they're literally making this whole living galaxy that we can be a part of. And then they threw in remember back when the first Odyssey trailer came out and then they had the concept art and it's like, well, that looks like a travel agent. Maybe we can book a flight to another system. You can do that, they just said. It's crazy. Yeah. And then even the on foot, they said if your ship is on the bay, you can walk around your ship to get an idea of scale and stuff. These are all things they've said in the last 3 days. It's blown my mind. And I don't want to get all fanboy, but it's exciting that they've added all of this. It does seem like it's a secondary game being added to this game, especially with adding the thing that they're going to add a CQC element to this. It's just weird to me that they literally have created a first-person shooter that they're just attaching to this game, and it's going to be one giant galaxy. I'm super excited.
Well, so you're making it sound kind of separate, and I think like one of the things that they've specifically confirmed in the last few days is the interactivity of, when you're on a mission on foot, you can be fully supported by wingmates or just other players in SRVs, in starships. You're all in the same reality. So it isn't demarcated where you're only going to interact. Like you were saying, we can see Dubs crashing the Asp Scout, which he'll definitely do, right into that window. And
it makes me believe Ty can do his Hulk smash and crush you if you're at Mos Eisley. Absolutely. It's exciting.
I don't want to forget about the other people who are supposedly on this podcast with us. What do you hate at Dubs? Somebody holler in. What was your favorite part of the video? Somebody yell.
The stream? Oh man.
Well, I think we were kind of concentrating on the video first, but I'm having a real hard time separating it.
Yeah, so it's all combined. Just go to town, brother.
Yeah.
Stream. Kai Zen from our sister station Elite Week asked a question, and as soon as Steven had enough time to read it, he gave this half of a nod and he smiled just a little, and during the stream, while they were talking about the motion capture, Kai Zen asked, how did you guys get the motion capture for the Thargoids on foot? And he stirred a reaction out of Steven with it.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds fine. I would react to that too. I hope we see Thargoids, whatever. Somebody cut me off here. I feel like I'm poo-pooing something that I actually think is very fun.
I absolutely. Kai's got an ability to ask questions and ability to get reactions, but sometimes a question's going to get a reaction no matter whether there's anything behind it or not. I really hope we do have some Thargoids on foot, but asking that question, you definitely would get a reaction, either way. Yeah. Good job, Mr. Zen. Good job. What do you think, Dubs?
To be completely honest with you, I haven't watched all the videos yet pertaining to it.
God
But I did,
damn
I
slacker.
did see the video. Yeah, I know. I'm slacking when it comes to keeping up with the times. You know, I just get on here and like to go blow shit up half the time, or waste
well-
an hour buying modules.
Then let's do it like this. You just jump in with any questions you have while we're talking, and that way we'll get some. Yours will be the perspective of somebody who hasn't seen these videos before.
I mean, I saw some of the videos. Yeah, I think.
Well, what did
maybe
you
a
think?
5-minute version.
Yeah, you saw the
What I think?
shorter version and some of the stuff
Yeah.
that they had in there. What did you think?
I mean, I saw the part where they were doing the in station parts, the tour about the different the new companies involved and like the different stations or kiosks you got to buy things. I didn't really get a lot of information since they didn't release a lot of it. But being able to watch inbound traffic as if you are actually in that instance and not taken off to a separate instance
Exactly.
seems like it's going to open some possibilities for the interplay, the what do you call it, the intermixing of the play styles. And I'll be able to sit there and watch out the window on foot and heckle people in the local chat about their horrible landing jobs.
I'm looking forward to some rubber banding while standing in the bar watching.
I mean,
Wait, what?
maybe they'll fix it. We don't know. Maybe there's
I'm
going to be a
hoping.
whole new networking protocol and we won't see any of these issues.
I think being so forward with showing us directly that and saying so in words like this is a player, like that's a player ship flying in and you're watching it from the other side. They're proud and they're not hiding that. So I think it has to be that work has been done to kind of improve the instancing and networking.
Yeah, I am kind of wondering how they're going to balance like the dude on foot being able to really give much assistance to someone in SRV or a ship when it comes to combining combat. I mean, what's a dude on the gun or a dude on the ground with a blaster going to do? Get squashed by Ty's Corvette? I mean,
Tie smash.
Okay. Now to that angle though, so one of the things that they did talk about on the stream, they talked about the different suits, but they also had one of the devs who's on the missions team talk a lot about how the missions are constructed and the different kinds of missions that will exist and the kinds of things that you can do on foot. So I don't think we're expecting the person on foot to be firing at spaceships, but there will be different kinds of things that are going on, and to a certain extent, like some of the direct stuff that they described was, and now I guess I should disclaim, I was supposed to be working while this stream was on, so I was kind of like working, and then which involves my ears, of course. So I can't always just like have it on in the background. So I was like occasionally hearing chunks that they would say, and then I'd have to listen to something for a little while, and then anyway. So, but I heard a good section where they're describing these missions, particularly like scavenging missions. So you would receive a contract to go find something, and you got to go out and locate this wreck, go inside, like I'm going to do the very quick version of this, go inside and rummage around inside a destroyed wreck, find things in all the disarray, find boxes. They mentioned specifically different size boxes, how some of them might be more difficult to open or require tools. And some of these objects might be bigger than others. Maybe you need to bring it to your SRV in order to carry it home, kind of this sort of stuff. And that the mission giver might be interested in an object, but everything else you find is legitimate salvage. That's all you. So this is just like an example, one of the examples that I heard, discuss.
There's a lot of stuff that they are talking about, and it did open up so many, like it gives me little things like, okay, we have the plant gun. You're talking about going in a ship and rummaging through stuff and finding, compartments to open. What if there's like a little arc welder, so you need to have a special gun to open up compartments? Right. There's so many levels of detail that they can get into, that I'm really hoping more and more of those levels, especially after seeing the most recent. And I hope that the reason that things have been delayed hasn't been because they need more motion capture. I really think that it's they are putting so many levels of depth into what we can do that's why this has been pushed out. And the visuals we got in this most recent one, it wasn't, just that, there was alpha in-game animations or whatever, but in this one too, there was also some concept art, but this one was far more in-game type stuff. You saw stuff in action. I don't know if you were able to see Burr and Reenie's video where they were comparing the lighting between the space station. They parked a ship right where that view would be to see what the lighting would be, and they saw the station had changed just ever so slightly, but the lighting was different. So you start getting an idea of that yes, there have been some engine changes, and goddamn,
more than just the Planet Tech.
Yeah, it was looking really good. But it really looks, especially with the fact that you can hop, go to the travel agent desk and book a ship to another system. You could literally play this game without flying a ship. It looks like going forward, there's going to be missions for you and everything else.
Well, that was one of the questions that they decided to answer. If you wanted to, sure, you could play this without a ship, because you can travel, you can book a flight to another system, another world, and you can do all kinds of stuff on foot. I think that would, thinking about how this game is perceived as being extremely vast and not very deep, that would be experiencing a very, very small fraction of the game, right? But you could do it, which insinuates, I can't remember if this is confirmed or not, but it insinuates that would be a starting option for a new commander, right?
Mm-hmm.
To pick not a spaceship.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And also, Stephen and Arthur during their stream did say that they were already working on a breakdown of just the suits. They're already working on a video for just the suits.
No, it seems like that's just another ship concept. Our different guns will be like our hard points. The suits themselves, I mean, this video talked about how, different suits will have different capabilities. And my guess, not necessarily, well, it will be modules. You're going to have different stuff. So probably, you can walk around longer and breathe longer, but you can have less armor. You're going to be able to do all of this stuff. So I definitely anticipate, this once a month dev diary, one of them is going to be talking about these suits that we're wearing. My question to you, Hate, is how they said inside the stations, BGS state in controlling faction is going to determine the NPCs present. That's super cool. I'm hoping that they break it down as deep as we get to choose our own uniforms for our faction.
I heard them saying stuff about that, and I was running around my living room screaming like a little squirrel.
They mentioned faction flags.
Yeah.
I think. Am I right? Or did somebody in the chat mention that and I construed the memory?
I've got to vote for a piece of Swiss cheese. All right, carry on.
The BGS will affect not only like what signal sources are in space, but can also affect the people and the numbers of people in those the areas where you'll see NPCs.
The entire aesthetic and traffic within a station.
And also, it is possible that you'll have mission boards that don't have you leave a planet. So if you have an assassination mission in system, you are directly, negatively affecting a counter faction. And I am super stoked to be able to just say, all right, I need, some on foot guys in Odyssey to go to this system, just hang out in the bar until an assassination contract pops up.
just sit there and look shifty until somebody talks to you.
Yeah, sit in a dark corner.
Do you think looking forward, we could end up with different voice channels for our pilots and our on foot people. I mean,
In
because
Discord?
of because of the fact that we'd be running different missions and stuff.
Well, that's just like Wing 1, Wing 2, right?
Yeah, but we
the
never
same
use that
time.
shit right now. I'm saying.
We might have someone in a beluga with just mines strapped to do those assassination missions after someone picks it up.
Yeah, paint the target with the laser, call in the airstrike.
All gunfire. It's from a gunship.
No, hey, I
Yeah.
have to say, recording, you're talking about the AXA Discord is on fire. Is there something going on with Thargoids right now? What's happening?
Nope, there's no Thargoids. Eagle Eye has not done anything new in 13 months now.
Okay.
They recently, as of today, announced they're making a secondary server for not Elite Dangerous and a handful of other games, so that they have another server, so they don't suffer from too much server bloat.
So that's what that was about.
And
Okay.
I'm distracted while Trex was talking.
Okay.
See, Trek starts talking, people's minds wander. It happens.
Yeah, what am I going to do? I'm not that engaging a person.
Pinged the XI server while he was talking, and I was like, "Oh man, if I'm getting pinged, there must be something serious going on over there."
Oh, okay. I thought there was something very. Yeah. All right. Our server tomorrow night will be melting due to Star Wars Squadrons, I'm sure.
All right. So let's sweep up a couple more feature announcements. So among the things that we know now, the different companies or like contacts, I'm not sure how to refer to them, but the different desks basically that you can walk up to inside the social hubs include stuff for buying armaments and suits. The suits, by the way, have shields, they said on the stream today.
Yeah.
They have shields that run on batteries. So we will have, some resource management and stuff involved in that. That's, I guess, probably just one of the differences, right? Like some suits are going to be stronger than others. There's definitely one that was geared toward battle, and others are exploration or like scavenging and stuff like that. They also said that you will be able to purchase multiple suits and multiple editions of each suit and outfit them differently to your needs.
So like your ships.
It is going to be like your ships and your modules for sure. So I started to talk about the companies. There's, booking yourself travel to different areas without using a ship. This business about the CQC is because there's one, I think it's called Frontline Systems or something. Yeah. And they're going to be like a test out your, I get the impression it was like a test out your stuff before you buy it sort of situation. Yeah.
Frontline Solutions is a mercenary outfit which will allow players to explore combat scenarios without necessarily aligning with any given faction in the game world.
Okay.
That is an excerpt from the PC Gamers article, courtesy Jalaman.
Right on. I'm blanking on what the other table there was.
Pioneer Supplies, general outfitters for your weapons and space boots and related consumables. I read this earlier and I completely spaced the word consumables the first time I read this.
Yeah.
So that'll probably come up later. Inter Astra is a shipyard where players can preview and purchase starships. During the video that was released yesterday, they had a projection of a ship with a ship kit already on it.
Ooh.
Apex Interstellar Transport is the taxi service. They have not clarified whether or not we will be able to interact with Apex Interstellar Transports whilst they are not inside of the station, i.e. in space.
Right.
Then Geonomics is where you would turn in genetic material you had collected while, using your field sampler, Mr. Chip.
Say it.
Plant gun.
Plant gun.
And then they actually labeled the black market.
What?
Bum,
Not
bum,
secure
ba-dum.
storage?
Well, because I think all right. So here's my justification. On your carrier, you really are storing it, right?
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah.
Whereas the black market, you're actually getting rid of. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
that it should be just called black market.
And
but
yeah, the place where you sell your plant gun data, basically it's universal cartographics for your
genes.
your botanist, whatever it is.
Can
Xenobiologist.
Can you really call it a black market on the fleet carrier if it's not actually being fenced?
Well, I think that's kind of what I was saying, but I also thought that I don't really agree with the argument that I'm making, so I decided to stop making it.
Nah, I'll agree with you, Trax. It's okay. I don't believe it's actually acting as a black market because it's not being fenced and going anywhere. You're
It's
still
real-
stuck with
yeah.
stolen goods.
They sit in your hold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay.
should. It should.
Well,
it
that's
could-
why it's
it should
secure
be
hold.
it should be a secure hole. I don't. It should just be a black market. Fuck, I don't know. It's so stupid.
I mean,
it really is. If you
if I could
buy them
clean
on your
them-
carrier, because it's like you're in international waters. You buy it in international waters, it becomes just a good that can be sold on the ship. But then I suppose if you take it off that ship and you could try to sell it at a station, it still would be considered stolen somewhere else. So that
If
could
I
be
could
the logic.
somehow, if I
That
could
works
launder
perfectly.
or clean these things, that would make sense for it to be called a black market, but you can't.
Instead, it's secure
Right.
storage. You're holding stolen goods, but nobody can do anything about it because you're in international waters. So it's
It
secure
seems
storage.
like
It makes perfect sense to me now. I'm on board.
it seems like it should just be part of your typical commodity market, though, right? You should just be
Exactly.
deciding, I want to buy a stolen thing, and then I'll take it to the black market.
And then they'd be labeled in your commodity market as a stolen item. So it's
Yeah.
not an entire separate module you have to have. It would just be something in your commodity market that's marked as stolen. And if somebody buys it, they know they're buying something stolen. Just,
So this is just the
highlighted
newest
in red or orange or something.
Yeah. This is just the newest silly thing, like having two different cockpit modes instead of just having two different cockpit modes, but not having the fire groups split
Exactly.
between them.
Yep. That's the
Okay.
exact kind of thing. Yeah. Or having a Type 9 that you got to enable fuel hose, Some little things
that
in this game
reminds
are
me.
annoying.
I need to get him a Type 9 and transfer some fuel.
So do
Okay.
I. I'm getting low on mine too. I need to do that. All right.
So,
Oh, hey, may I?
yeah.
Carry on.
If you're listening to this very early Friday, October 2nd, and LSN Snake Pit has not yet left comma, LSN Snake Pit is going on a long-range survey of a poorly and partially mapped Guardian bubble.
Nice.
So what
I've seen
Hate is
some
saying,
excitement in the
you wanna
Discord
go-
for that already.
Yeah, you want to go do some actual exploring. That is actual exploring because you're looking for shit that people have not found.
Right.
Last weekend, the kind folks. I think I talked about this in the last show. The kind folks who unloaded my carrier of all the Galite that I didn't want anymore. I went and organized a little thing, and I think four people came out with me, and we went to the Guardian sites, and then we went 5,000 light years to get them all an engineer invitation. It was pretty fun. We did some Guardian site stuff, which didn't take very long because everybody was mostly there already. But instead of driving around, I flew air support in a fighter, which was kind of fun. But anyway, so some people have their Guardian stuff unlocked. This is the real deal. You go 14K light years out.
Guardian ruins.
Yeah, let's go find something new. I'm excited to. I'm not gonna come with you, with all due respect, but I will be excitedly watching your expedition go down on various channels. I'm assuming there will be screenshots.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna land and take a selfie and then post it every time I find even just ancient ruins that you don't get a lot out of.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
The hot commodity for us is going to be the Guardian Beacon, because that points at other Guardian sites.
Right. Okay. Well, putting new things on the map. So what day are you planning on leaving? Tomorrow?
Noon.
Is that
Texas
Eastern time?
Eastern time.
Wait.
11 a.m. Texas.
All right. There we go.
11 a.m. actual time.
Yes.
That is -5 UTC for everyone else. So, is there what haven't we? I know there's like little details and stuff. In the video, they interviewed people who are integral in working on motion cap and the mission designs, things like that. I think it's worth a watch. I'm not going to say that there's not fluff in it, and there's sections where they start answering questions, and I'm like frantically trying to ask. I'm not going to go over all the questions that I desperately wanted answered and did not get answered, because I'm sure we'll get that eventually. But I did. It did feel like they were like, okay, let's answer some questions, and then it started being like, it was like the flashlight question. It was like sort of obvious stuff that they'd already announced.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And somebody asks about the action figures that are in Arthur's background, and he spins around. Let's talk about this for a minute.
Yeah, it's not. They were Transformers, not Gundam stuff. Yeah,
he was like, "Oh, let's do that." And I'm like,
fluff.
I've asked you like 5 questions about this game, but I have the impression that they have certain things that they were looking for because that's what they were actually allowed to talk about. And they were cleverly avoiding all the other questions because they just can't say yet. And that's okay.
Yeah, but once again, I'm going to say Arthur, he took on a couple that I guarantee they weren't planning on talking about. And I appreciate that. I respect that.
Right.
And he's a straight shooter. I like it.
Yeah.
And when he can't answer, he actually says why. It's like, hey, we want to give this to you later. Or he'll say, this is something we're working on. He seems, I like, it's refreshing. Let's put it that way.
One thing I don't kind of know for sure yet, but I feel like was like half confirmed or something is I was feeling like it was going to be kind of a big miss to not be able to go to the hab rings on some of these stations, but it's seeming to me now like when you go to a station, really the only accessible part is like the docking bay where you can walk around your ship and the social hub itself, which is kind of a disappointment. I know it's only certain stations have those, but
if they could let you go to a hab ring section, that's almost like going to a atmospheric planet. You're going to have plants and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at a lot of the stations with the hab ring and planets and everything else. So I understand why that's not accessible yet.
I thought it doesn't have to contain anything. You know what I mean? I thought it was just for the screenshots. It just feels to me like it's a fairly simple thing. They can just fill it with NPCs that don't do anything besides say hi.
It's a fairly simple thing.
Well, whatever. They're drawing the whole inside of the station. Like all I think is that it would be meaningful from.
But your plant gun doesn't function there.
I don't need to scan the DNA of those plants. Okay. All I think is I just think if we go to Jameson Memorial and we sit there watching the thing go around and watching the Earth like in the distance, I just think that would kind of tie the whole room together. Do you know what I mean?
Space germs could completely ruin their entire crop.
Man, if I knew how to create a white system state,
Wait. Did you say a white system state? What?
He said blight.
Blight. Okay. Just making sure that we're not. Never mind. All right.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. No. Okay. Strike that from the record. Is there? What have I missed? Everybody holler. What have I missed here? What have I think missed?
We're good. Dubs, got anything?
I have no meaningful input at this time.
Fair enough.
Rad.
None of us have meaningful information.
Well, it's pretty good. I just need to hunt down these links and put them in the show notes, and we'll get this thing published. So thanks for listening, everybody. Go to our, in the show notes, you will find a link to the Discord. Basically, actually, I'll probably just link to loosescrewsed.com. That is the show website where it has everything. There's a merch store there. You can do things like buy mugs and hoodies and stuff.
Oh, I need a hoodie. Yes.
Yeah, it's getting to be wintertime in the Northern Hemisphere. Come on. Like, what are you going to do? Walk around without a Loose Screws hoodie? Figure yourself out. And in the meantime, come join Discord. If you're a podcast listener and you haven't joined our Discord yet, you're experiencing about 8.5% of what Loose Screws is. So get there. And
seems like a pretty rough number.
No, that was
down to 0.5%.
Carefully calculated. Do you think I'm wrong?
No, that's pretty close. That's pretty accurate.
Damn right it is. All right. Well, I think all that's left is to talk some cheese.
Oh, yes. I got a great cheese tonight. People are going to get upset whenever I go with something that's not really a cheese. I get some cheese hate, but I think Dubs is going to appreciate this one. But first, I just want to say, yes, Loose Screws, join the Discord. My daughter, she's 13, and she's a teenager now, and she's supposed to start hating me at this point. She really doesn't. I got a great kid, and like she made some.
You should hear her in Discord when you're not there.
I
mean, go
can
ahead.
only imagine. She made some Loose Screws earrings. I'm going to post a picture in Chig Chat of her wearing the earrings that she made, which are pretty cool. And she said the Loose Screws Discord is like her family. That's what this distant learning is doing to kids these days. They're latching on to random video game Discords as their family. Not that that's good or bad, but like she had, we're doing it's 100% distance learning. So I'm helping her with homework. Yes, I'm remodeling my bathroom, working 70 hours a week, doing a podcast, and trying to find time to play video games. It's driving me nuts. But I was helping her catch up with homework, and they had to digitally decorate their locker at school. I know this isn't cheese chat.
Okay.
Do it. And she's putting up, like she did like favorite movie, and she did like Predator, the original Predator picture, and something from Harry Potter, and place she wants to visit, a map of Ireland, and then all of a sudden other hobbies. And she put up the Loose Screws emblem with an Elite Dangerous podcast, our emblem from the Discord. She put in her digital locker as a decoration and made it the biggest decoration there, hoping that some teacher will be like, what is this Loose Screws thing? So then she can nerd out and tell them about it. So we're being advertised at random middle school children. So I need to watch my language a little bit more. But all right, cheese of the week. We are going with, it is a processed cheese that tastes somewhat like American cheese with a softer and smoother texture than non-processed cheese. Yes, we are talking the great cheese called Velveeta. Until I looked this up, I had no idea. Velveeta has been around over 100 fucking years. 1918 is when it was invented. So this week, get some Velveeta. Honestly, if you want to make nacho cheese, get some Velveeta, pour some salsa in it, chop up some peppers, melt it down. Or if you just want to make a great grilled cheese, or if you just want to just eat something that will probably kill you, Velveeta is the way to go. All right, stay cheesy, everybody.
All right, that's good. Hey, it is a family. It is a family.
It is.
It's been proven over and over
here.
again.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That was fun. Hey, we'll see you next week. Go watch those videos.
Bye-bye.
Bye.